Johnny Somali, or Ramzi Khalid Ismail, has lost a lawyer and gained a very, very angry victim who is out for maximum punishment. Today, we're going to go over some big developments which are coming out literally the day after we had new charges in the case of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, in Seoul, South Korea. This is also one of what I'm going to call the Fast Facts series. I know a lot of you want to get this information quick, you want to get it compact, and you don't always have time to watch my streams. So before all of my streams, I'm going to try going forward to do a very compacted version of it that is much more short, and will try to come out after the end of my live stream. So if I'm going to still do live streams, still enjoy the interaction, the crowds, the questions, the fun, the memes, the banter, but trying to get you guys condensed information, especially in the case of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, because there is a lot of inaccurate information. And as a quick update, we're going to go over my PowerPoint, which has been updated a bit since yesterday on some of the changes and some of the new things, and give you guys a refresher in case you don't know. Of course, one of the important facts is we have his next trial date, which is as of today, as of right now, still scheduled for the 16th of May. It has not been changed, but we will get to whether or not that's changed a little bit later on. So the first thing is I obviously went over yesterday a procedural update. The lawyer from the Eastern District, that is the private lawyer, officially registered in the Western District. And today we have a change. So yesterday we weren't sure how the representation was going to go. We weren't sure who was going to be representing him on certain charges, what was going to be the split of work. Well, today, just today, we had the public defender step down. Now that is likely, they were actually removed from the case. That means they weren't the ones who petitioned it. It was the court that did it, probably because he no longer qualifies for a public defender. When you have a private attorney, that typically disqualifies you from having a public defender. So it appears that he was disqualified from that. So now this attorney, this private attorney, will be handling everything. We talked about it today. Yesterday, his name is Gwang-ho Choi, or Choi Gwang-ho, depending on, once again, if you say it the Korean way or you kind of westernize the name and mix up the surname and family name. But that's his sole lawyer of the Songpa Joint Law Firm, or it's also been quoted as Songpa Law Firm, but I believe it's Songpa Joint Law Firm. We did some research on his background. Now, I am going to give a little bit of a clarification, to be honest. On my channel, I believe in intellectual honesty, and I also believe in clarifying any mistakes or misstatements that are made. And I did make a misstatement yesterday. Now, doing further research into his record, we still are consistent and still are correct that he is primarily a tax litigator. So tax litigation is a thing he primarily does. Now, yesterday I said he hasn't seen the inside of a criminal courtroom in over 20 years. I'm issuing a correction that I'm not sure whether or not that's true. It is possible he has. It's possible he hasn't. We were unable to find anything specific, although he did have listed pro bono practice, which seems to be pro bono, meaning free representation of clients. Typically lawyers such as myself, even in America, can do pro bono work as part of our requirements for our local lawyers associations, our bar associations. We can do work for the poor, for the underprivileged, the underserved. I did a lot of pro bono work when I was in Florida as an attorney. But it appears he does pro bono work. He does work for kind of small businesses and others that are fighting their taxes. We were only able to find, though, 5 civil cases. So he did go to court at least 5 times, a minimum 5 times, to civil court. Now, understand there is a difference between civil and criminal. So that's there. And we did find that all of those cases that he lost. Now, that doesn't mean he's a bad attorney necessarily. You can have bad clients. You can have clients that aren't necessarily good. But we did find he went to civil court. So he has gone to a court at least at some point. So I want to clarify that and be fair on that one. But that's now his sole attorney going forward, as the public defender has stepped down. We're going to talk about his strategy as we go on. Now, we did mention this new charge for Ramzi Khalid Ismail. Mentioned that yesterday for the next deepfake. We are pretty sure that now we have 2 deepfakes, and at least one of them is Bong Bong, and the other one probably Dalgoon or one of the other Korean YouTubers, maybe Bang TV, maybe Youngman, and it could actually be all of them, because the way these deepfake charges can go through, they can be for a collection, they can be for multiple. So that might be an amalgam of charges for the 5th charge and 6th charge. We will find out on the 16th exactly what each charge is for on that trial date, presuming it's not moved. Now, once again, this doubles his penalty. So his penalty just for the deepfakes is 21 years now. So 10.5 on both is the max. And that brings him to a total with 5 years each for his 2 obstruction charges. So 5 plus 5 plus 10.5 plus 10.5 brings us to 31 total years in prison as a maximum. There is no minimum. So once again, the range is now 0 to 31. As of yesterday. Now, obviously, one thing I want to point out, we are at step 4 on the criminal process here for most of these things. These are all things that are brought before the court, but we do have other charges. I can confirm there are things that are being investigated that are still at step 2 and step 3 that may come very soon and may hit him next month or the month after. He may have a series of charges that is coming in the future. It is not necessarily done for charges until everything is settled out, and that's going to be a while. Just as a refresher, once again, his current charges, these are his current charges. He has 2 obstruction of business. Charge number 1, charge number 4 are for obstruction of business. Each of those carries a 5-year penalty, so that's 10 years of 5 and 5, so 10. We've got violation of the Minor Offenses Act for, of course, harassing people with a stinky fish and for making a scene and causing severe disruption on the bus and on the metro. That is a violation of the Minor Crimes Act. One obstruction, by the way, is for 7-Eleven. The other one probably for Lotte World. Probably. We will find out on the 16th. And then, of course, we have the 2 deepfakes, which is violation of the Special Act on the Punishment of Sexual Crimes. So here is a bombshell we have today. We have a victim stepping up. This is massive. So a victim with the surname Kim. Now, there's a very common last name in South Korea. In case you don't know, Kim is a very common name. They officially registered a lawyer with the court. Now, this could be Bong Bong, who does have the surname Kim, but we're not sure. It could be another victim. We don't know. It could be anybody who was harassed by Johnny or Ramzi Khalid Ismail, Johnny Somali. Anyone harassed by him could step up. And there were so many people, it's hard to tell. I'm sure there were multiple people with the last name, the surname Kim, that were harassed by Johnny Somali. So my speculation is this is the probability is Bong Bong, but we'll see on the 16th. We will find out exactly who this is and what charge they're interested in to speak on. This is uncommon. Now, it's not what I would say something that never happens. It's just very rare, especially in the trial of a foreigner. For a victim to feel so compelled to obtain a lawyer, that means they feel seriously bothered about this and they will be looking to get a maximum punishment. This is something that you would only do if you felt you wanted the maximum punishment. You wouldn't necessarily pay money for a lawyer to go to court and to press your claim to give you an opportunity to speak. And the prosecution will almost certainly give them an opportunity to speak. What does this mean? This means more delay. There's going to be an entire trial date. Remember, these things are pushed out month by month. So this will give an entire month extra at a minimum to the length of the trial. We were already looking at a trial that is going to go into the fall of this year. This is certainly going to push it. Once again, we're looking closer and closer to this thing potentially going into 2026 before it's fully adjudicated, depending on the strategy of Ramzi Khalid Ismail and his lawyer. Also, this is a severe aggravating factor. We talk about things like being apologetic, being respectful, being courteous, being civil, behaving, none of which Ramzi is doing. Ramzi Khalid Ismail has done nothing but being aggressive. He's done nothing but attack. He's done nothing but curse people out. He's slandered people. He's attacked the court. He's threatened to attack people like myself who are attending with HIV needles. He's done crazy things, none of which is to sincerely apologize to the court or the people he's offended or threatened or etc. This is severely aggravating, which means in the court, there are things called mitigating factors and aggravating factors. An apology is what you call a mitigating factor, which might make your punishment lighter. That might make your punishment less severe. So maybe instead of jail time, they would just give you a fine because they think you're very, very sorry and they would mitigate it. However, an aggravating factor is something that would make it worse. So maybe they would say, well, it's all, he has 6 crimes, but it's his first offense. So, we're going to give him, just a minimum amount of jail time or maybe even none and give him a big fine and get him out of here. But when you have a victim, you're looking at them pushing for real jail time, real time behind bars. And this is something you're going to see here that certainly they would push for. So we're looking at a victim that is going to be pretty dedicated to getting Johnny to doing some severe time under this statute, which once again is something we've been looking forward to because we've been wanting more and more of a strong case for him to be punished to the max. Now, I want to say one last thing. I talked yesterday about whether or not the May 16 trial will be delayed. I actually think, based on the information that we have about the lawyer, the public defender stepping down, and the new guy stepping up, I think the new guy seems pretty confident when in his previous stuff. He seems pretty gung-ho. He seems to want to do this as quickly as possible. I think because it's this new attorney, I think he may be pushing things faster. So my money has flipped. Yesterday, I was 60-40, 60% delay, 40% no delay. Today, I've gone the other way. I am 60-40 that it will not be delayed and that it will proceed. So my money is now on no delay and this date going forward and them being in court on May 16th. That is what I'm thinking at this point. If Johnny was to delay this, we are actually looking at a scenario where 2026 for sentencing is very realistic. So I think this kid is already losing it. He's already crashing out. He's already breaking down. I'm not sure he could even last that long to go into 2026. So I think they may push this forward. I think they may try to get this done. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Johnny is crashing out? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit the like button, and I will catch you all on the next.